If you're between the ages of 18 and 25 and you want to make crazy money pushing around a lawnmower instead of flipping burgers, this video is for you. Now, I actually started my business probably less than a year and a half ago, so really not that long. And I started with like an old Honda mower. It was this really old mower, like probably 15, 20 years old at least. And I had a shallow trailer, which was again probably about 10 years old. And it was like rusted and all buggered. And I just kind of worked with the machinery that I had and built it up to eventually get enough money to buy some newer equipment and have newer stuff. And then I started with very little clients, built it up to the big client list that I have today. And just for a rough figure for you, I make consistently about 15k a month, which is pretty decent considering all I do is cut grass. And my setup now, I've got the full trailer, I've got the car, the ute, I've just bought the second car, and I've just bought a bunch of new equipment as well, because obviously I'm still replacing all the old equipment. A lot of you are probably wondering why lawn care out of anything else. Well, I mean, probably the first one that really sticks out in this day and age is lawn care is probably one of the last things that will still be running by obviously humans, because AI is taking over everything else. Home service businesses in general are not going to be taken over for a very, very long time. The other good thing about having a lawn care business is that it's a low startup cost, right? So you're not chucking in tens, 20s, 30, $40,000 to start your business. Like, all you have to do is buy a second-hand mower, a second-hand whippersnipper, and realistically you can start by chucking it in the back of the car that you already have. So you don't have to be all big and fancy to start out. The other thing is, because you're getting clients, you're getting a nice cash flow throughout the entire time. The whole time you're getting just this nice cash flow. It's not like big sale payments like high ticket sales. You can get into that later, but high ticket sales means that you have to like sell that to get that big chunk of money. Whereas this, lower ticket sales, but it's more consistent. So you're consistently getting this cash flow throughout the month, which is ideal realistically, especially if you're starting out. It's easier to obviously sell a $50 lawn than it is to sell a $50,000 landscape job, all right? And again, it's very beginner friendly. The other thing that I would say would really stand out is the fact that you don't have to be a scientist to do the job. I mean, it's cutting grass. How hard can it be? You have a mower, you cut the grass, you make it look good, there's 50 bucks. It's really not that hard. You don't have to go to uni for it, you don't have to have any special licenses or skills. Literally, train on your back lawn for a few goes, do a couple of your neighbors for free, you've got your word of mouth already going from them, and kick off the road and get started. There really is not a lot you have to do to actually get the ball rolling. I'd probably say that the other benefit of having a lawn care business over anything else is that you can, because of the low startup cost, you can actually grow it quite quick, all right? Because once you start getting that first little bit of money, you reinvest it straight away, and then that way you're getting bigger a lot quicker. The scaling in lawn care is not really talked about, especially in Australia. I know USA has a lot going on over there, but aside from the franchises down here like Gyms or VIP or Fox Mowing, there's no one that actually realistically has a big enough brand name that you could probably name it straight off the top of your head, that has grown multiple routes that they actually own. However, if you look at the lawn care business model, it is quite scalable. If you put in the work and the time, there's a lot there that I feel like just isn't being utilized in Australia, and I feel like it definitely could be. So that's definitely another thing that I would say pops out to me about lawn care than any other business model that you could be sort of following down. There is very low risk, especially at the start. There's not a lot you actually have to invest or a lot that you have to put in to start out to actually gain some business knowledge. The best thing about it is that you get a lot of business knowledge as you go through, and you can genuinely just learn along the way. It doesn't matter if you stuff up here or stuff up there. Maybe you lose a client, maybe someone's not very happy with you, but at the end of the day, you've got the business knowledge, and it really doesn't cost you too much, even if you make the mistake along the way. I'm gonna get straight to the point on how to actually start it up. Like, what is the exact things that you need right now? Like, if I had to start another business tomorrow and I had none of my equipment that I have today, the first thing I would do is literally jump on Facebook Marketplace, grab a second-hand mower, grab a second-hand whippersnipper. Don't get crappy brands, just get a decent brand that you actually know. Don't try and get don't skimp out too much. Get Stihl, and with your mowers, get like a Honda, get something you know, right? Something that is obviously reliable, but it's cheap because it's secondhand. The next thing you want to do is, if you don't already have a car, get a car. I mean, don't bother doing this business model if you don't have a car. Get a car, chuck them in the back of your car if you have to. If you have a bit of extra money there, you got a bit of extra cash flow, get a small trailer. There is nothing wrong with having a small trailer. It makes it easier for dumping. If you don't have a trailer and you're putting it in the back of your car or your van or whatever, either have sacks in the back, which they cost nothing, so just grab a sack, or maybe for the start you'll have to dump in their bins, and that won't be something you offer straight away. The next thing you want, obviously, would be an ABN, right? ABNs are free. Literally just go onto the government website, chuck in, you got to give a little bit of information, but it takes like 10 minutes, and you don't, remember, there are some that makes you pay. That's not the right one. They'll still give you the ABN, but they're basically like a third-party member. You don't need the middleman. Cross out the middleman, go to the government official website, get your ABN straight away, and bang, you are up and running as a legitimate business. The only other thing I would say that you need from the get-go is your third-party business insurance. Now, this is a must. I wouldn't even say that you could get this. No, you must get this. Especially if you're starting out, because obviously you're a newbie, you don't really know what you're doing, you're just testing the waters. If you're whippersnipping and you get a rock through a window, which is incredibly easy, and I'm quite surprised I haven't done it yet, really, but it is very easy to do. One little flick, you don't even see it, it's in long grass, straight through a window. You need that insurance to cover you, all right? Because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself in a lot of debt very quickly over one small tiny mistake. Look, it doesn't cost much, per month if you shop around a little bit, if you get the right one. Definitely get it though. And once you've got your ABN, you've got your insurance in line, you've got your cheap mower, you've got your cheap whippersnipper, obviously you need your cheap blower as well, and then you've got something to transport it with. Literally, you've got your business. That's it. That is everything. You are now a legitimate business. Don't think too hard about your name, especially to start with. Just have any old, just think of something quick, snappy. Think about your area maybe. But that is literally it. Now you've started. So now you've got your equipment, and you need your first 10 or 20 clients, all right? Now, some people, you can just save up a deposit and buy out a small part of a route, especially if you're in a rural area. You can buy an old guy's route out. But if you don't have that money, or you don't have the people aren't selling, to get your first 10 or 20, your number one tool is your Facebook Marketplace, all right? Or your Facebook community channels, one or the other. You can actually advertise on the marketplace itself, or you can join your local community group, which is, again, I would say probably your biggest tool. Get on there, tell them all about you, tell them that you're local. Really incentivize the fact that you want to incentivize them to go with you because you're local. Let them know that you're from the area. Be very clear about what you do, what you're willing to offer, and you know what, you're starting out. Go lowball the hell out of everybody else that's doing the lawn care, because you can afford to right now, because you have the time, right? You're not paying anybody else to do it. You've got so much time because you don't have enough clients. Lowball them. Do a lawn for a lot less than what it actually is for at the start. I'm not saying, keep on a roll with this, But all I'm saying is, if you want your first 10 to 20, this would probably be a pretty good way to do it if you're lowballing all your clients. The next thing I would say is probably get straight into the door knocking. Now, a lot of you probably won't do this if I'm going to be honest with you, but you have to chuck your ego aside, right? We're in business now, you got to think logically. If you're starting from nothing, you're door knocking, all right? Go out, send a few of your, if you've got door hangers, you order in a few door hangers for yourself, or a few flyers, brochures, anything like that, and spend the day. Like I said, you got so much time, all right? So you've got time to actually go and do this. Go out for a whole day, go down your local streets and go hand out your flyers, go hand out your brochures or business cards or whatever it is. I wouldn't put your business cards, they're too small. Get something bigger. They can't miss it. If it's a door hanger, it's on their door, they can't miss it. Put it in the letter box or whatever, but literally just go out and do the footwork, all right? When you start out, you're gonna have to do a lot of that sort of thing. You're just gonna have to do a lot of the footwork, a lot of the boring stuff. All right, you don't want to do it later on, but like I said, you got so much time on your hands. Get them out, and that's how you're going to get your first few clients. In your brochures, in your door hangers, be very clear about what it is you're actually selling. Don't try and put too much in there, too much information. Don't sell too many services, especially when you start out. Just really give them a drop dead clear information about what you're doing, what you can offer, and then obviously if you can quote it up on the block, then great. If you have like sub units and all their backyards are the same, chuck in the quote straight away. That way, they don't even have to ask you. The next thing I'll do is, if you do get a phone call or you do get a message, you quote that day. Don't be like, oh no, I'll quote tomorrow, a bit tired today, no, I'll ring them back tomorrow. No, get to them now. Get to every single one of them like you really want to. Because they're going to notice that too. They're going to notice that speed. If you're on them so quick, they don't even have time to call up somebody else. All right? A lot of the clients that even I get, when they get me over there for a quote, they've rung up like 3 or 4 other guys. The only difference is I'm there that afternoon. The other guys are there and like, oh yeah, I'll rock up, oh, are you there on Thursday? Oh, I could probably nick by on the weekend. No, I'm there that afternoon. I'm calling them back as soon as they've called me, if I even missed the call. So that's what you need to do straight off the bat. If I'm doing that now and I'm flat out, you can 100% do that now when you've got nothing on. Now, I will get into some of the early mistakes that some of you lads will probably make. And one of those is, first of all, like I said, you can underbid your clients from the get-go, but you don't want to make a habit of this. You just get this to reel in a couple. But as soon as you got even a few, reel it back. You don't want to undercharge too much, because if you do, it's going to bite you in the bum later on. Because now you're charging them nothing. You've got a couple people on now, you're getting busier now, but you can't, obviously you can't raise them too much. You haven't even had them for long. So be careful when you are undercharging, because you don't want to undercharge too much that, first of all, it's not even worth doing, and second of all, that you can't raise it to a sustainable level for when you got them as a client in the future. The next thing people do, and I just mentioned this, is offer too many services. If you offer too many services, you're going to have too much equipment, which means that you're paying for all this other equipment that you don't actually need to really have if you just focus on like a limited number of services. If you can do it, if you already have like a hedge trimmer, for instance, fine, do some hedging, all right? But start off doing it the small way. Use the actual hand hedges yourself. You don't want to go and have to buy all this equipment, because the other thing is, it means you need to store all this equipment, right? And it means you need to maintain, fuel all this equipment. This is all extra money that you're straight away losing down the drain just by offering these services. Definitely down the line, for sure, when you're a bit more, you've got the business as a bit more of a sustainable income, then fine. Go out, offer them more services. You got the equipment. You probably can buy a better trailer that will store them now. Fair enough. I do that now myself. But realistically, you don't want to offer too many, right? Because the other thing is too, you're just going to get confused about what you're actually doing. You're going to have so many services so many people ringing you up for different things. You're constantly swapping throughout the services, like throughout the day. You've got your lawn mowing, and then you got to like make room because now you've got hedge clippings coming in, and so it just, the whole thing runs the muck. Like, you want to have a good mowing route. That's the idea. You offer the other services realistically because you don't have enough work to just have a mowing route. Alright, so don't offer too many. The next thing is, don't straight away, as soon as you get some money, go out and buy the best mower on the market. You just don't need it. Alright, run with what you got for as long as you can. You don't need to. That Honda mower, I literally just bought a mower the other day, but I'm still going to run that Honda mower to the ground. The only reason I bought the other one is because I'm relying on it a bit too much, and if it does go, I literally don't have one to replace it. So I got that other one, I bought a new one, but I'm still using that Honda one until it goes into the ground. But I only just bought that. You don't need to buy the best stuff on the market straight away, right? As soon as you get that first paycheck, just write it out. Actually gain a bit of like a, decent account first before you go and buy all this other stuff. A lot of the time you'll find you don't even need it anyway, because you can do all that you can with the crappy mower that you got that you can with another mower that's just a little bit newer. No point. Wait until you actually need it, or there's actually a logical reason as to why you should get that over what you've got already. You'll fall into this trap of going, oh, well, if I buy all this new stuff and I look bigger as a business, I'm going to feel a bit better about what I'm doing. No, you have to go through the slow pace run, right? It's going to be a little bit slow at the start. Once you get kicking up, you'll watch, it'll go real quick. But at the start, it's a little bit slow to begin with, all right? And you've just got to accept that. Don't try and buy stuff to make yourself feel like you're a bigger business, even though you're not. That's why I said, put your ego aside. Your ego doesn't matter, all right? Put it aside. You're a little man to start with. Just accept that you're a little man. Once you've got an actual sustainable route, you should be pretty well. I mean, your lawns nowadays are probably between I'm just trying to think of average. Obviously, there are so many different lawns, but usually around the 50, all the way up to probably the 80-ish. That's probably the median number. $50 to $80 a lawn, right? And if you're running a solo route, so of course it's just you could probably do about, in my area, I would say about 10 to 12 lawns a day. All right, that's a decent amount. 10 to 12 lawns a day is what you could do, and their median range, like I said, $50 to $80. All right, so you could be earning just about $1,000 or slightly under every single day if you got that full route. If you've got a full sustainable route, that's what you're doing. Now, obviously, we've got to talk about the reality of seasonal work. If you're in an area like mine, then I'm obviously down south. Obviously, the business in the winter is going to be a bit slow. This is why other services are quite useful. So I'm not saying don't offer other services, I'm just saying don't offer too many. You need those other services though when it comes to winter. But if you're in Queensland, for instance, this will be less of a problem. In Queensland, lawns grow way better for way longer. Right? You have that constant good humidity all year. So yeah, you do have a drop in winter, but it'll be much better in Queensland. So if you're not tied down to where you live, move to Queensland. I'm telling you, move to Queensland. Right? I wish I had. It would be much better up there than doing it somewhere down south. All right, or doing it just in general, just doing it somewhere where it's much colder, or that it's very seasonal. If you are in seasonal work though, obviously you got to sort of get ready. You got to get ready for this slow, especially if you are hiring later on. You got to know that slow patch is coming. All right, don't hire someone if you know that that patch is coming. You're not going to have enough work to sustain them. But the other thing is, this is why it is handy to know other services or to be able to do other services down the line, because you're going to really need that to upsell, so then you can get through the winter at a reasonable rate. So then you're not losing much money, but by the time you get to the next spring, all right, or you're not too daunted. Again, if you're in Queensland, you're probably not stressing too much about this because your lawn should still be banging. All right, offer a couple services maybe, but for the most part, you should be pretty right. Once you're booked out, right? Or you've got just a decently booked week most weeks. This is when you could probably start thinking about maybe buying some new equipment, okay? Maybe buying a bigger mower to do bigger areas, right? Not necessarily buying a new push mower, but buying a new ride-on mower, or even a second-hand mower, because let's be honest, the ride-on mowers are going to cost a lot more than a push mower, right? So then you can offer another service straight off the bat right there. You can offer another service, which is block flashing, or you can just have the ability to do bigger yards, or again, do them quicker, right? Quicker for the same money. That's what you want. However, the other thing I would also say is that you can get a bigger trailer, a better trailer, more storage. This is the things that you're going to want to do when you actually are scaling at a reasonable rate. One of the most important things I would say that get overlooked pretty quickly is, and again, this is a mistake I made, is route density, okay? Route density means that you want your route to realistically be in a small area. You don't want to have to drive very far throughout your week even. Throughout the day, you don't want to be going more than realistically 10-15 minutes, okay? If you're in a city area, and you could probably confine this pretty well. If you're in a regional area, it's going to be a bit harder, right? Especially at the start, because I think it was more that for me that I was willing to go further to get these clients. But when I go from one end to the other, it's like 45 minutes. That's a 45-minute drive, 45 minute there, 45-minute back. All right, that's a lot of time being wasted just driving. A lot of extra fuel just driving too, because you're hauling a massive trailer if you've got one, or you're hauling equipment at least. All right, so route density is actually really important, and obviously because you're driving, you're getting in less lawns. If I had them all in my little town, I could probably fit in another 3, 4, 5 lawns a day. All right, and again, considering you're making the median number of like 60, 70 bucks, another 5 of them, bang, you're smashing out at least another 300, 400 bucks possibly. But if you're having to go from one end to the other for 40 minutes, 30 minutes, again, you're wasting that time. Wait till you got a worker on too. If you're paying a worker to go 45 minutes from one end to the other and then back, all right, you're paying them an hour and a half just to sit there in the car and do nothing. So this is why route density becomes very important. The best thing I'd have to say about scaling the business to a decent size is that you can ditch those crappy clients. You have to deal with them at the start, but you promise you, there's no better feeling than just going, you know what, I actually don't need your business, bugger off. There are some clients that I'm so glad to get rid of. I was over them. You know, they just push that button a little bit too far. I'm not saying be too quick to get rid of them either. Right, don't get rid of them unless you're literally like they are an absolute pain in the ass. Alright, because then you get in like a habit of going, as soon as you don't like something, you're just like, oh bugger them, see you later. Your business will drop off pretty quick if you keep doing that. And again, I'm only saying this because I actually did this. I made this mistake. Alright, I had a decent amount of, like, my route was decent, I had a decent amount of clients, I got a bit too comfortable, a bit too quickly, and I dropped off a lot of clients that realistically I could have just dealt with and kept going. Some of them were fair enough. It was like I just genuinely was like I was just over them. But there are some, some others I definitely got rid of that I realistically should have just kept. Alright? Because at the end of the day, they're putting in money into your account. It's going to add to your cash flow and it's going to add to the growth of your business. So just keep them. Do everything you can to keep them. But like I said, the best thing is by going, nah, bugger off. I don't need your business. Definitely one of the best things about scaling. The other thing you also will be improving, right, once you get this route, is your actual scheduling, right, and all the inside stuff of the business. Like your invoicing is going to be better, your quoting is going to be better. You need to look constantly for tools. Marketing is going to be better. These are things you're going to be doing as soon as you're getting out. Like if you're getting booked out, your route's getting dense, you're getting a lot of clients coming in, that lead flow is getting a bit more consistent. Straight up, this is what you want to do. You want to get straight onto getting better marketing. You want to get better invoicing system, so you're spending less time. You want better better when you do your tax, obviously. So make sure that you have a better system for that, because I promise you, you realistically, you don't, even I shouldn't be doing it at the moment. I will be changing that very, very soon. You don't want to be taking down every receipt that you get in just so that you're safe at tax time, right? All of these things are things you're going to want to be working on straight from the get-go, and quoting again is a massive one. The amount of times you underquote a job, there is no avoiding this, by the way. It's going to happen. It's part of the learning curve. You don't learn unless you do it, but it's something you work on when you do it. Like, get better at quoting every time. I learn about quoting every time I do a quote, and this is definitely something you work on as you get a bit denser. You get a little bit more like, all right, why is this lawn $70? Why is this landscaping job $5,000? These are things that you all like, and then invoicing again, especially being able to do that real quick and real easy. Best part of your day once you come home. Obviously, you know, you don't want to be on the paperwork too long. So the best thing is coming here and doing it for 10 minutes and then going, well, I'm done. That is also something I'll be working on as of right now, like near future. So there you have it, guys. Very simple, very, very easy. Don't overcomplicate everything. But a lot of young lads, they waste a lot of time before they actually start getting into something. Why not start now? Why not start right now? Start tomorrow, as soon as you get into it. Because like, you waste so much time. A lot of these lads do it. It's not just you, it's everyone. Everyone does it. They waste so much time mucking about. You know, I think it's because they get out of school and they think, oh yeah, I'm out of school, time to like relax, but then they relax for too long, and then like next minute they're working a job that they hate. This is a business model that allows you to have a very good cash flow, okay, without having to put too much risk in, without having to put too much investment in, and also, like I said, because once you get this steady flow of clients, you are actually getting a decent amount of money. It's a decently easier business model to scale, which is obviously one of the biggest pros about it. And you literally, you don't have to be a scientist to start. Just mow a lawn. So boys, get started. I don't know what you're waiting for, because it is realistically that easy. If you need help though, be sure to reach out. Join the GGC Australia. Actually, I'll chuck the link down below, but that is definitely a place you want to go if you are willing to get into the lawn care business, or this is definitely something, you know, you want to do. The link will be there below, or DM me personally. I'll message you back. I'll help you start your business for you. Alright guys, with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be putting out a couple more. I might put out a vlog next week, or a trailer setup or something. If there's something that you want to see, chuck it in the comments below and I'll make sure to get to it as soon as I can. Otherwise, keep up with the Instagram. I'm always putting up reels up there, so you can always keep on track of what I'm doing. And also you can DM me personally on there as well. And until then guys, I'll see you in the next video.
I don't wanna fall right back to us. Maybe it's wrong.